Hey, what's up guys? Let's talk about how to train and manage your insurance sales team so that you can maximize their production, their income, and obviously the amount of money that you're passively making as a result of that. So I've worked with over 1,000 insurance agency builders in the last 3 years, and there is one thing I can tell you, all of them were struggling with this. So you're definitely not alone. This is never gonna be perfect. This is never gonna feel good. But the goal is, how do we maximize it? How do we get as close as possible to perfection? So there's really 3 things that I want to talk about today that are going to help you increase the passive income that you're making from your team. So first one is tracking. So I know that everybody has a company tracking, which is going to track the amount of recruits you coded, the amount of points you had, commissions you made, all that. And that's great, but that tracking is not sufficient. It is not granular enough for you to know actually what's going on in your business, and definitely not in your agent's business. So as far as the big KPIs or key performance indicators that you want your tracking to cover, the first one would be the amount of leads generated, then the amount of booked calls, the amount of calls that showed up, and out of the calls that showed up, how many of those was an offer made, because if you get people that show up but they're not qualified, then you're really not going to make an offer to them, aren't you? So out of the offers made, how many of those converted into recruits or clients, and you want to obviously, track, how much that made you in terms of commissions and points and all that. Not only that, you want to track how many dials you and your agents are making on a daily basis, because a lot of the job is actually getting people in front of you, right? So if you're making less than 10 or 20 dials a day, it's going to be hard to get 8 appointments in front of you, unless you got a really good system. And even then, I've got a really good system. I don't call anyone. All the appointments are booked on my calendar for me. I still make more than 20 dials a day just because of the follow-up. So you want to track how many dials a day you and your agents are making. Extremely important. So those would probably be the biggest tracking KPIs. Based on that tracking, you're going to be able to identify why an agent is making 10 times what another agent is making, or why you are making a certain amount but your upline is making X and your downlines are making Y, right? So without a tracking, it's all emotion based, and obviously data is way better than emotion to help you scale your business. So if you're not tracking, it's not gonna work for you. Now the second thing is meetings. So that's the factor number 2 is meetings. This is all, this stuff is not being done, but it should be done. There's 2 kind of meetings you want with your team. You want a daily morning meeting. Now I didn't say 3 times a week, 1 time a week. I said a daily sales team morning meeting. This is going to be an honor for your top performers to be allowed to be on that meeting. And on that meeting, your part-time people are probably not going to be there. It's not manageable for their schedule, and this sales team morning meeting is for your top performers. It's for your full-time guys that really want to crush it. They really want to make it happen. You reserve it only for those people. And it has to be an honor to be able to be accepted to the sales team morning meeting, okay? So that's the angle you want to go for. On that morning meeting, you're going to do 3 things. You're going to share sales wins, right? You're going to do projections. So we're going to do an entire video only about how to set projections. So once you guys realize that you can literally write your own check and choose how much you're gonna make in the next 30 days, 60 days, next quarter, it's gonna change your business. But first of all, you're gonna make basic projections as far as how many appointments you wanna set, how many people you want showing up, how many people you wanna close, and how much money you wanna make, and how many recruits you wanna get. You gotta get real clear. Your monthly projection divided by what you're gonna do each week, divided by what you're gonna do each day. The better and the more clear your projections are, the more you and your agents are going to know exactly what to do on a daily basis to be able to hit the numbers you want to hit. It's literally that simple. So first you're going to share wins about, hey, yesterday I had this appointment with this lady. It was awesome. She was super in. We got a really strong follow-up. So that's my win for today. And also I managed to recruit a new agent yesterday. So That's my win. All right, John Doe, your turn. What's your win from yesterday? So that's gonna start every morning with some positive energy, some momentum building. So by the time you guys finish the morning meeting, everybody's already ramped up, fired up, and ready for the day, which is really important. So morning meeting, you're gonna cover wins, you're gonna do projections, and then lastly, you're gonna train. So wins and projections are only gonna take 5, 10, maximum 15 minutes. If you got some announcements, you can do it after the projections, but you wanna keep a solid 45 minutes a day to train. What I mean by training is you guys are gonna practice the different parts of your sales call, your presentations, your pitches, your objection handlings, and you're also gonna do call reviews. So I like to do call reviews, a lot of call reviews, but it could get boring sometimes. So you wanna switch it up and do some objection training, or in discovery or info gather training, product training, but don't do too much product training. Do a lot of sales training and appointment setting training on a daily basis. So that's your first type of meeting. The morning sales team meeting for 1 hour every single day, same time. Your top producers, top killers are there. The other part-timers are not gonna be allowed on this meeting. Secondly, you wanna have a one-on-one meeting. Ideally weekly if you have a small team, if not bi-weekly, with all of your direct licenses. And that could be a 15 or 30-minute meeting. It's kind of like coffee time. You just want to connect with them, see where they're at, review their projections with them, review their numbers. Because you have great tracking, you're going to be able to actually be a great mentor and leader for them, and tell them exactly what to work on and your best advice on how to improve X and Y. If you don't have tracking, then you're not going to be able to do that. So those are the two kind of meetings you want to have. And let me just recap what we talked about so far. We talked about having great tracking, great morning meetings, great one-on-one meetings. So what's the last thing? The last thing is accountability. And it doesn't matter if you're working with any major IMO or pretty much, any insurance company. Most sales team know this, but don't do this. So last one is accountability. You want to have an end of day form that every single one of your agents, including you, has to fill out at the end of their day to know exactly how many dials they made, how many sales calls they took, how many recruiting calls they took. Basically all the numbers you're tracking, you're going to want to include them in the end of day form. Obviously, you're not going to ask them, what was your show up rate today? Because you can just do a formula for that. Same for closing rate and all your percentages and all that. But as far as like how many dials you made, how many sets you made, how many leads you generated, all the numbers you want to track, your agents should fill that out on a daily basis. And you, as their leader, have to respond to that every single day and give them feedback every single day, every single end of day report. Why? Because it's called accountability. Imagine if you asked your agents to fill out that end of day report and then you don't give them feedback on it. How long you think it's going to take before they stop doing it? And you don't want to be like, hey, nice, thanks. No, take 3 to 5 minutes, really 2 to 3 minutes per agent, and give them the best feedback you can on a daily basis about their numbers, because it's all numbers, it's all data. So we could probably do another video about how to make decisions based on data and how to identify and remove business constraints, based on data. Because you're gonna need to master this skill to be able to be a great sales team leader and manage your team. So that's it, guys. Those are the big 3 things that everybody I think knows, but not everybody's doing, or at least not doing it right? So tracking, you can never get too precise with tracking. Meetings, you can never train enough. You can never share enough wins. You can never be precise enough with your projections, and you can never have enough coffee time or connecting one-on-one with your team. And then lastly, accountability, because you can never have too much accountability. So if your agents have to submit that every single day and they get feedback every single day so they know you read it, they know it's going to be valuable for them to keep doing it, then you're encouraging that good behavior over and over and over. That's how you build, great sales teams that are producing, that stick with it, and that actually do what they say. So that's just my personal opinion. That being said, my sales team is great, we do great revenue, but it could definitely be 1,000 times better. So as I am improving my sales leadership skills, I will definitely be doing more videos about that on this channel, where I post a video on a daily basis. So if you want to stay tuned to that and you think this content was actually valuable, maybe you find a golden nugget or two or maybe three, then definitely subscribe to the channel, like this video, and I will see you tomorrow. Cheers.